Good evening, everyone. My name is Patience, and welcome to Access TV. I'm standing here with Thomas, one of our entrepreneurs who will be receiving an award tonight. So, Thomas, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up here in Hartford for a number of years, except for like 5 years. Then I came back after I turned 18, and I've been here ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tonight you're being awarded on your entrepreneurship. So tell us a little bit about your business and how you got into it.
Yeah, so I started when I was like about 18.
Okay.
I got like an internship at the Urban League of Greater Hartford, and I wanted to make more money. So I decided to start a business venture, and it was like in the marketing field, and I also did nightclub events. And from there on, I started to grow my nightclub business, and then started doing concerts, and then from there started taking money that I was making from the concerts and nightclub money and investing it into like art ventures. So I started doing art and media, and now I specialize mostly in art, media, and entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, what would you say as an entrepreneur what would you say are some of the challenges that you've had so far?
I guess you can say one of the challenges for sure would be like budgeting, and also just learning about financial literacy. That's like a huge factor, big one. A lot of entrepreneurs, they will kind of get excited that they're making money, but then they don't know how to budget or spend it correctly or invest properly into scaling or sustaining their business model. And that's something that I've learned to, figure out over the years.
Great. So what would you say is one advice that you would give to someone out there that's looking to start a business just like you?
Yeah, one of the biggest things of advice I would recommend is to find something that you want to do and you can see yourself doing for your whole life. And also find something that's viable and sustainable. There's a lot of people that get into a business and it's not sustainable or viable business. So find something that you're passionate about, but also make sure that you can sustain it and do it for 20 plus years or whatever time frame you want to do, and also see if you can scale it. There's a lot of people that could be the next Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, or any of that stuff out there. So yeah.
So if someone is looking to contract you, where can they find you?
You can find me at Thomas Lewis Kenney on Facebook. I've got a like page. On my like page, I've got like a portfolio of my business ventures that I built and established. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me anywhere. Yeah, I'm like a butterfly. So.
Thank you very much, Thomas, and I hope you have a great night. Yeah, thank you.
Hi,
my name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good evening, everyone. I'm standing here tonight with Dr. Isabel. Dr. Isabel, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you find yourself here tonight?
Well, I am a graduate from Hartford Public High School, and I got invited to come here with one of my former graduates from Hartford Public High School. Her husband's running for mayor, McCauley, and so they invited me to come because they're honoring me here for beginning my practice.
So you just mentioned that you are starting a practice. So tell us a little bit about how you went about starting your practice.
I actually just took a leap of faith. It was something that I was interested in doing, and I was teaching. I'm teaching full-time at the university, and I want to keep my hands in the field and continue to work with people in the community. And so the best way to do that is to do what I like to do, and that's to provide clinical mental health services to individuals. So I said, well, let's get this started, and I just jumped in.
So you said that you took a leap of faith. So there's somebody out there that is probably hesitant about taking that same leap of faith that you took. What is an advice that you have to give tonight to someone who's on the verge or on the fence about starting their own practice or their own business in general?
I'm actually going to quote a a picture that was given to me when I left my first job and decided to venture into a new career, which was teaching and opening private practice. And that is that if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And so I say, if you want to start your own private practice, you just need to do it. Sitting back and saying, I don't know if I can, is not going to get you to where you need to be. So.
Great advice. So one last question is, starting a practice can obviously be a daunting dream or idea, right? So what would you say are some of the challenges that you've had so far by owning your own practice?
I think sometimes it's just, I think one of the challenges was really like being scared to do it, right? But I think once I started, it might be that sometimes people may come or may not come, and you don't know what's going on in their lives. So you have to, one, be patient, two, understand where people are coming from and what some of their challenges are, getting to where you are. And once you understand that, then you don't beat yourself up about, why didn't someone come in today, or, and then just work around that.
So where can people find your practice if somebody's looking for healthcare? If someone has a healthcare need and they need to find you, where can they find you?
So I provide mental health services at 674 Prospect Avenue in Hartford. It is not too far from Elizabeth Park, and I have a massage chair there. Oh, okay. So if anyone's stressed out and wants to come a little bit early, they definitely can sit in the chair, have some tea, some hot chocolate, some water. So I have some self-smoothing therapies section where they can take care of themselves and come talk to me in a safe space.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Isabel, for joining us tonight.
What happens in the voting booth stays in the voting booth. Even if someone wheels you up to the polling station after buying your groceries or paying you by the hour to door knock, you still can vote like an independent thinker. Vote like you're demanding better police accountability. Vote like you're demanding functioning schools that put Hartford children first. Vote like you're demanding your mayor puts Hartford residents and neighborhoods first. Vote like Hartford's government belongs to you, the constituent. Because to the party, you are just a vote. However, to me, you are a constituent, my boss. And I work for you. So when you go into the voting booth, have the courage to vote your conscience and vote for a man you can trust to be accountable to the constituents of Hartford. My name is J. Stan McCauley. I'm an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 5th, 2019, in the general election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. And remember, what happens in the voting booth stays in the voting booth. Escape the plantation of party politics and free your political mind.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Access TV. I'm standing here with Latoya and Demetrius of Madam's Beauty Supply in Hartford, Connecticut. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get invited to this event tonight?
Okay, so I'm Latoya Chambly, and we are the owners of Madam's Beauty Supply, and I am a retired school teacher, beauty supply school teacher, and that's what we do. We have a hair store, so we run a hair store.
So how did you guys get invited to this event tonight?
We got invited with starting a business in Hartford, and we also do a lot of community work. So a lot of shares and likes on social media and Facebook. We do a youth investment class out of our beauty supply store. We do a lot of entrepreneurial events where we have entrepreneurs come in the store and we sell different items and just kind of practice that group economics together.
Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about how you got your business started. I know you mentioned that you're a retired school teacher, right? So tell us, how did you get into the beauty supply business?
Well, I was a cosmetology teacher for 8 years. Okay. And so I have that license and experience in hair and products. and he's the businessman.
So I worked in the corporate world for a little while. I worked there for 11 years. I was an operation manager and production manager. And I also I went to school at MCC, graduated from MCC with business and entrepreneurship. And my expertise was financing, so financing and marketing. So my wife, she does a lot of the technical work, dealing with the customers, the day-to-day activities. And what's unique as well about our store is we're a one-stop shop. So not only do we have products, but we also provide services as well, which my wife provides.
So when you say services, what kind of services do you provide? Like just getting your hair done, or do you go to people's houses to get their hair done?
Well, if they're sick and shut in, I may have to make a visit to them. But, yep, I can do eyebrows, eyelashes, makeup, braids, come washed and blow dried. I can hook your daughter up for graduation, did a lot of those, proms. Yeah, so it's been pretty exciting lately with the proms and graduations.
So with your background in cosmetology and your background in business operation, so how did you guys start this business? Like, what was the idea that came about? Because I know not everybody that is within the same field gets to start the business within that field. So how did the idea of the business come about?
Well, one, a lot of the hair stores, this is a $1 million, billion-dollar business, and a lot of the hair stores are owned by Asians. So why not? Why don't we own one? And or everybody work together in unity and support each other. So that's what we.
And I read a lot of different books, and that's one of the advice I would give to young entrepreneurs coming up, to read a lot of information, do a lot of research. What I noticed is that, like my wife stated, a lot of the beauty supply distributors, the stores, everything is owned by a culture than the culture that actually spends the money in that market. So we said, okay, let's put my wife's expertise with my expertise together, and for something that actually our culture spends some money in. And we felt like it was a win-win situation.
So going in an industry that's dominated by different ethnicity, what would you say some of the challenges that you guys experienced during the beginning stages of the business?
Well, during the beginning stages, and still some now, distributors want to keep the money to themselves. They don't want to share with people outside of their culture. So that's still kind of ongoing. So I think that's I mean, it's ways to get around it. So, getting around it.
Yeah, there's different distributors. They'll give you different terms as far as if you're like from our background, they'll give you a certain term. But if there's somebody from their culture, their background, they'll give them different type of lead times and stuff like that. But one of the things that difficulties that we ran into was something that a lot of black entrepreneurs run into, is where they feel like, the customers feel like different stores are better than yours, that they can't get the same type of service that they get at your stores, which they regularly get go to their stores. When they come to our stores, they fall in love. They fall in love with it because, like I said, my wife has the background and the expertise and all the products and the care. So when they come, they always come back and they tell their friends.
That's great. And then also, my last question, what would you say is an advice that you would give to an entrepreneur? If it's someone who's looking to go into the beauty industry like you guys, or someone who's looking to just go into a different industry overall. But what is one advice that you would give to them?
I would give advice of have a great partner. Have a great partner that got your back, that knows some things about the business, that everybody help each other. Yeah.
Yes, I would. My advice to the up-and-coming entrepreneurs: don't be scared to reach out to entrepreneurs who's already solid, got their business running, and been successful over time. A lot of times, like us, we have entrepreneurs come up to us, and we help a lot of entrepreneurs for free. You know what I mean? If I knew what I knew now, we probably would have worked into a beauty supply store or something like that, just to gain some knowledge that we had to learn, firsthand. But reach out to entrepreneurs who is already an established business. They'll give you advice. They'll have you work with them, and they love giving back that feedback. Do your research. Sometimes people will spend their efforts and funds and resources into a business and that really the market is not asking for. So definitely do your research and read a lot.
Great. Thank you, guys. And then one last question, where can we find your business? Where is your store located?
Our store is located 1390 Park Street, Hartford, Connecticut, 06106. So if you're Googling it, put the zip code in so they don't send you somewhere else. That happens.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you have a great evening. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Patience, and I'm standing here tonight with Naisha and Stan, the planners of this event. So, Naisha, offline, from what I heard, you were the one who mostly planned this event. How did this event come about?
So we were thinking about some of the ideas that we really wanted to share with the city of Hartford. And one of them was economic empowerment. Okay. And it coincided with Juneteenth. You know, Juneteenth is this month, it's in June, and Juneteenth is about freedom. Okay. And when the slaves in Texas first got the message that they were freed like 2 years ago. And so some people call it Freedom Day as well. And so it's this idea of being empowered. And now we have freedom, but in 2019, you know, what does freedom still mean for Black and brown communities? And so we were thinking, you know, we really wanted to talk about it. And so we have this event here tonight, and we're going to talk about it.
Great. So, Stan, I understand that we're honoring some of our local entrepreneurs. How did you guys go about choosing who to be honored tonight?
Well, my wife actually did a lot of the research and finding out who, you know, should be recognized. And we were basically looking for people who were connected to Hartford, but had a vision and exemplified individuals who took an idea and turned it into a reality so that they could be the examples for what we see as a vision. I mean, we like to model what we're talking about. You know, it's one thing to talk about. It's another thing if you can point to somebody and show them exactly what you're talking about. So we have, you know, 5 individuals who exemplify that vision to, you know, incubation to, you know, birthing, and next thing you know, they have successful enterprises and they are very good at what they do. And so we believe that anyone that gets the kind of help that they need can arrive at that same destination.
Great. And then also, was this something that is going to be an annual event, or this is just a one-time thing?
I think you are speaking something into existence. Yes, let's make this an annual event. Yes, yeah. I think so. I think so.
You know, I think it would make a great annual event. You know, we start off with these 5, and then, you know, next year, you know, after I become mayor, we will identify 5 people in the city who had an idea that started, you know, like a year ago, and is actually realized. So, like, entrepreneur of the year, where, you know, there was nothing there, and now there's something. You know, so what can you do in a year? You can do a lot, particularly if there are people who believe in you. So I think it would be a great way to recognize, and also to put the challenge out. You know, we're going to have 5 people who we're going to recognize next year. Hopefully you'll be one of those 5. You know, and if things go the way we would like, maybe we could give them a little financial incentive as well. You know, not just an award, but, you know, maybe like $1,000 or something like that. You know, continued seed money. Yeah.
I like money, so maybe.
Money to help people
but
get
it's also
underway.
about connecting people to the resources too. So we have a great speaker tonight, Frank Dixon, who is going to speak a little bit to that, because, you know, we all need startup capital. And so Frank's going to talk a little bit about that too. Like, how do you connect with those dollars that you need in order to start up? So, yeah.
Great. And then just so you guys are entrepreneurs yourself. Yes. So one of the questions that I've been asking anyone that's standing here tonight is, how did they go about starting their business? And then also, asking them to give an advice to someone that is, on the verge of starting their business, or, they're kind of thinking about it, but they're not really sure. So tell us a little bit about your business, how you got started, and then maybe, Stan, you can give an advice to someone who's looking to start their own business.
Wow. So I think a lot of this just comes from, ideas come out of necessity. So Access TV, I think, is the mother of necessity kind of thing.
Yes.
Would you describe it that way?
No doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the mother. Nothing like necessity. Like if you're falling through the air, you need something, so you come up with a parachute. If it could be like that. And that's kind of how accesstv.org came along. I found myself unemployed. I was released from the burden of having to manage a television station, and so I was thinking to myself, well, what do I do, and what do I do good? Well, I can create small television stations, and so I said, well, the station I was managing was one that I could actually manage from my laptop. So all I needed was access in a vehicle. I don't really need a studio. I can make the city my studio. And I said, well, you know what? Why not just put it online? And it was literally that simple. So I got a couple of URLs, and the rest is history. And just, developing programs that people want to see that were unique. So there's a little niche, covering people's lives, the events that happen in their lives, and showing those events, whether those events are city council meetings or boardroom meetings or school of Board of Education meetings, whether they're somebody's wedding, whether they're events like the one we're having tonight. I'm documenting those events, and it's very an interesting journey because it's turned out to be, documenting, the life of Hartford and the residents and the people that live here. So it's been a wonderful journey, and the reward, I guess, or the compensation is people knowing what you do. It's an interesting way to make money because the network itself doesn't make money. But because I'm out there all the time, my freelance video business, people hire me to do all their video. And so the network is kind of like our way of giving back to the community, and the community gives to us by hiring me. So it's an economy. That's an example, if you will, of an economy. Yeah.
And I think if people really have a passion, like something that's really just like they get up in the morning thinking about it, they go to bed at night thinking about it, it doesn't feel like a job. It doesn't feel like work. And so I would say to people, lean into that. Lean into that because your passion is there. It's not, whatever challenges come your way, you're going to overcome them because that passion is there and it's going to drive you.
Great. So again, do you guys, so what would you say some of your challenges have been, owning your own business, just to help someone out there who's having some challenges right now?
Well, the back end, obviously, when you have an idea and you're passionate about a business, you just want to do that. So you just want to do video. You don't really want to think about the accounting and, the marketing and all the back end kind of things. And that's just real, but because we live in a freelance kind of economy, I would say to someone, get a CFO, to do that for you. You don't have to know Excel spreadsheets. You can get somebody to do that for you, and that way you can remain passionate and do the thing that you love to do.
Any advice from you?
Be disciplined as an entrepreneur. It gives you tremendous freedom, but with that freedom, there's a lot of responsibility that you have, because it's you're really it'd be like a virtual office or a home business. Set hours for yourself. Make sure that you go to work every day. There's no days off, and I would say that one of the big challenges is making sure that you're working every day, doing something every day that is either promoting the business or making money. One of the two. because it would be easy to take a week off or 2 weeks off, because you get passionate about something, and you have to remember that you're not a millionaire. You're not independently wealthy, and if you don't get a client, you won't get a check. And if you don't get a check, you can't pay your bills. And so you have to set aside time. If you're working out of your house, you have to, I advise people, find a room or a space where you do your work. You go in there, and then at the end, leave out of there, so that there's a separation between what is work and what is not work.
Great. Thank you guys for joining me tonight, and I hope you have a great event, and hopefully next year. I look forward to next year. Thank you very much, Naisha. Thank you.
Independent thinkers are Puerto Rican, Mexican, Peruvian, Indian, Bosnian, Italian, Irish, Jamaican, African American, European, straight, gay, Nigerian, transgender, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, short, tall, skinny, rich, poor, happy, sad. Some of us hold a PhD and others a GED. And though we may be Democrats, Republicans, or members of the Working Families Party, we all have escaped the plantation of party politics and become independent thinkers because we as individuals are more than a party. You see, independent thinkers come from all walks of life, and the one thing we all have in common is that we love, live, laugh, and learn in the city of Hartford. We are the constituents, and the government of Hartford belongs to us. My name is J. Stan McCauley. I'm an independent thinker, and I approve this message because it's time to stop towing the party line and vote for a candidate you can trust. I'm asking you for your vote November the 5th, 2019 in the general election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. You too can escape the plantation of party politics if you have the courage to free your political mind.
Welcome everyone to a Juneteenth celebration for you. Okay, well, my name is Naisha McCauley, for those that do not know me. I won't go into a long speech about me because this night is not about me. It's actually about you and about all the people that we invited here to join us tonight. We are celebrating tonight. Tonight is a Juneteenth celebration. And, it is that time of year. June is the month in which Juneteenth is officially celebrated throughout the nation. And if you don't know what Juneteenth is, just a little bit of background. When Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, Texas didn't find out about it until 2 years later. A general came and delivered the message and said, hey, we are freed, we have been delivered. And so Texas found out 2 years later, and so to commemorate that day, Juneteenth was officially launched, and people celebrated all over the country. And it's not always called Juneteenth. In many towns, it's also called Freedom Day. And it's just that theme that is carried out throughout different events. And so the theme that we wanted to bring forward in our Juneteenth celebration is tied to freedom, and it's about your economic freedom, and it's about economic empowerment. And what does that look like for a city like Hartford, predominantly African American and Latino residents? What does that look like for Latinos and African Americans to be economically empowered? That means we own, right? We own and we are not owned. And so we wanted to stand on that foundation and say, hey, let's celebrate. And the best way that we thought that we could celebrate that was to recognize some of the entrepreneurs here in Hartford who also embody that spirit of freedom, right? And empowering others. And so that's what tonight is about. Tonight is about celebrating economic empowerment and freedom and being an entrepreneur and what that can mean to a city like Hartford, what that could mean to Black and brown communities if we all had that mindset of economic empowerment through entrepreneurship. So we have some fantastic entrepreneurs in the room tonight. Woo-hoo! And so Stan McCauley, who you'll hear from later on this evening, really we sat down as a team, and when we said, you know, what can we do in recognizing entrepreneurs, we said, let's throw a party at the Artist Collective. Where else, right? Where else will we throw a party tonight? Wadsworth, maybe, but that's that's another event, and I won't go down that road. Okay. So what we're going to do is recognize a few entrepreneurs. I think we might go off script a little bit if I get a nod from my event planners and team members. If we go off script a little and let our entrepreneurs speak for maybe a minute or two, is that okay? Okay, I got the green light. I got the green light. They weren't necessarily prepared for that, so I'm preparing them now. That when I call you up, I'm giving you the mic. But that doesn't mean keep everybody here all night, okay? So we're going to recognize some dynamic entrepreneurs who really embody that spirit of empowerment. And then I'm going to invite Frank Dixon up to share a few words, and I'll introduce Frank more properly when that time comes. And then we'll cap off the night with our featured speaker, Stan McCauley, okay? And then we have Super Joe in the house, so I don't know, maybe there might be a little bit of dancing. Joe asked me, was I going to sing? Yeah. Okay, so we don't know yet what the night holds. Anything's possible, right? Okay, we'll see how that goes. But, so that's the rest of the evening, folks, just to give you a heads up of what's to come, which is really rather special. And I really do feel honored to really recognize the people in the room tonight. It really, truly, from my heart, that is what you are seeing. You're seeing my heart in these crystal, okay, you are seeing my heart, because truly, and Sabrina knows this, from the first time I met her, I fell in love with her and everything that power couple over there at that table does. So truly, you're seeing my heart in these plaques, these crystal plaques. You're seeing our heart in what we're trying to do and recognizing what you do, because we think it's dynamic, we think you're awesome, we love you. And so I don't think Georgette is here tonight. Jesse, she's on her way. Okay, so we will give Georgette, we'll recognize Georgette when she gets here. But we do have really the first people that I want to give this award to and recognize. I met at a similar event, kind of on the same theme, back in the winter, Latoya and Demetrius. So they opened Madam's Beauty Supply store, but it's more than that. They really embody what we are talking about tonight. And if Hartford is going to come up, if we are going to be the kind of city in which everyone thrives, you know, they embody that through what they're doing, through opening their store and living truly out their values through their family. You know, it's not just Demetrius and Latoya, but also their children are here with them. And one of the things about what they're doing is empowering their children through the entire enterprise, right? So not only did they open Madam's Beauty Supply, but they also do so many other things throughout that. I'm not going to speak to exactly what it is that they do. I think I want them to speak to you about all the things, the enterprise that they are. So I invite the entire Chambly family up. Please come and receive this recognition.
and speak to what it is that you are doing to our attendees this evening. Come on, family. Oh, you're beautiful. Come on, family. Woo! Oh, look at the shirt. Oh, come on, family. This is beautiful. This is really good. So, yeah, a few words from you both, please.
I usually just pass in the mic, you know. I am Latoya Chambly, and I am a cosmetologist. Used to be a cosmetology teacher, and I do different services at the store, run the store day to day, and have the fun stuff. And yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Demetrius. I'm the I love entrepreneurship, and also I love my city. And there's a huge change that's going on around the city with us supporting one another, us supporting Black-owned, and us supporting our culture and the people in our community. We have, like you said, we have a store, but it's more than a store. We do a lot to give back to the community. I always tell people, we just started in September. But even if you don't have money, you can give back your time, your talent. You can teach the youth. So we, in our store, we do a free youth investment seminar for all the youth, where we teach them how to buy stock, open up a business account. My daughter and my son, they're huge into the investment as well. My son, he owns his own stock portfolio where he go out and research his stocks. So recently, and we went out to an event with Brother Anthony here, and we talked about creating more producers and less consumers. And when Kaepernick in the NFL, when he did the boycott and Nike backed him, and we talked about it, and we said, what can we do to kind of support this? So instead of us going out being consumers and buying more Nike sneakers and shirts and gear, what we did was my son researched the price of Nike stock. He went out and brought the Nike stock. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. And really, I'm an advocate of Black-owned businesses, and they almost call us like Black-owned ambassadors, because we support all Black-owned businesses. We had I think it was on a Facebook post. One of our friends, they asked us, they said, hey, can we, do you guys want to go out to this Chinese buffet? And somebody left a comment. They said, well, the Chambleys, they only go to only Black. But yes. We're located on Park Street, 1390 Park Street, right after the big plaza. Like I said, we do a lot into the community. My wife, she's a licensed cosmetologist. So not only do we have all type of hair, wigs, weaves, we have natural products, but we do offer services as well. And that's something unique that other stores don't typically offer. Let me see, anything else? I'm not gonna keep you guys here all night. But yes, we're gonna have we also have an entrepreneurial sip and shop, where we have entrepreneurs from Hartford and outside area come into our shop, and they set up all their different products that they want to sell. And we do almost like this summer, we're going to do like a barbecue, where they come out and sell their different products. And the last one we had was very successful, and we're going to be doing another one probably the end of July, followed up with another youth entrepreneurial seminar. That's it.
Thank you so much. Did I tell you that's what this event was about? Right here. This is what this event is all about. Thank you so much. I am honored to have you here tonight. Thank you. All right, folks, we have another great honoree tonight who often is not recognized, but many people know of his work in the city of Hartford. You may not know exactly that it was him that put it on. And that's Thomas Kenney. Thomas, I will let you speak to all the wonderfulness that you do in the city of Hartford, that people don't realize that they are being impacted by your tremendous work.
Thank you. Hey everyone, my name's Thomas. I've been here most of my life except for 5 years, 6 years in a different town. Family member passed away due to like gang violence, and we had to leave Hartford. So I came back when I turned 18. Didn't go to college right away, but had entrepreneurial spirit. Started doing nightclub events and different events. Started saving money, unlike most of the nightclub promoters in Richmond. And then started doing concerts and shows. Then I started saving up that money to do art events and different types of events and sponsoring like local artists for different things. I started a media business, doing like website development, graphics and printing. Like I ended up building that to like over 60 clients at one point. And as of now, I'm like just local, just doing a bunch of stuff, feeding homeless, doing a bunch of different events. I think it was about 2 months ago, I did a art scavenger hunt, gave away free paintings to random folks on the streets. It was a great way to give art to the common man. So most people, they buy pre-purchase artwork at stores, and I don't really like that whole corporate style of art. It doesn't belong in art. It's not original, and it doesn't really do good for the art economy. So, but yeah, I do a lot of good stuff. You can check me out. I'll give you some business cards. And yeah, I look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Artist, promoter, marketer, entrepreneur, Thomas. Thank you so much. We're honored to have you here tonight. The next person that I want to recognize is near and dear to my heart, and I said this when I emailed her, and I said, you know, we haven't talked since high school, but I see you thanks to Facebook. I see you and I recognize your wonderfulness. You are awesome. You are great. The city of Hartford should have more events where we are just like recognizing Hartford's own. Hartford's own. This young lady graduated from Hartford High, and now I have the honor of calling her Dr. Logan. Come on up here, girlfriend. Tell us your story.
Thank you. That hug reminded me of high school. That was nice for 2 seconds. So yeah, I actually, I knew this would happen. Every time I come up, this happens. So I grew up off Albany Avenue, excuse me, off Albany Avenue on Center Street in the 90s. We faced some challenges growing up. Some of the challenges that we faced was actually in the school, right? I remember having a guidance counselor that would tell me I was not college material because my family was poor and I came from a single parent household. And so when someone tells me that, it's like lighting fire near gas, and it just pushes me to show them that they're wrong. And so I went on to college, and about 6 months ago, I finished my doctorate in education. And so I'm a full-time professor at Eastern. I used to work in Hartford Juvenile Court for about 16 years there, and then in New Haven for 4. But I left the court system and I went into education to really empower young black and brown individuals that think that college is not for them. And so my research is on microaggressions, particularly bilingual professionals. And when I went into academia, I realized that I was missing out on giving back to that community where I grew up. And so I decided to open my private practice in Hartford. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and so I see predominantly women and young adolescent girls. And so I I do many different things. I run trauma groups for Spanish-speaking individuals. I do workshops on microaggressions. I empower my clients that come in with different adversity issues, different things that keep them from being the best that they are. I empower them to go forward and follow their dreams and deal with whatever issues they're facing. And we do it together. We do it one step at a time. And I'm a strong believer in educating my clients about what they're going through, but also empowering them to face what is coming next. So that's what I do.
Beautiful. Thank you. Awesome. You know, I get the same, although Isabel and I go way back to Hartford High. Really, this next young lady just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside in the same way. And we don't even know each other, but you know how you meet someone and you just instantly have that connection, and she may not feel it, but I have it on my side. So Sabrina, if you don't feel that way, that's fine. I'm holding that feeling for us. I love you. And as soon as I heard about Girls for Technology, I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. We need more of this. And so Hartford should be singing your praises. And I know you got a lot of shine. I'm going to let you talk about Facebook connection and stuff. So you have to share that story. You have to tell us more about that. But Sabrina Tucker Barrett is our next honoree. I was just trying to invite her better half up, or other half. No, she's the better half.
He's the talker. He's the talker. So my name is Sabrina. I'm the co-founder, along with Anthony, of Girls for Technology. It was started 4 years ago, really out of a community need. When I moved up here back in 2008, I didn't realize there were so many disparities when it came to our people coming from the Waterford, New London area. And I wanted to do something, after working in corporate America for about 8 years, I wanted to do something that gave back to my community. So we started the organization serving about 25 young ladies at Hartford Public Library. And today I can say that we've served nearly 600 girls, teaching them around technology and engineering. And recently, 4 of our young ladies had a chance to visit Facebook, where they competed nationally against 20 other teams to create a chatbot, which is using artificial intelligence around social impact. And the name of the chatbot is called Ebony. And so Ebony is like a virtual experience. I don't know if you have Bank of America, but when you go on and you type on to, or if you talk like to Siri, that's artificial intelligence. So just continuing to do the work. In 2020, I plan on launching a Pipeline 2.0, where I will work with young females, 18 to 25, teaching them entrepreneurship, and a pre-accelerator where they'll kind of fast track into the tech pipeline.
She's smooth. She asked me, do you want to add anything? So the only thing I would add is that when we started Girls for Technology, we really had a focus of really trying to empower young ladies when it comes to the tech engineering space. So overall, I think this is a space where we need to see more people of color in. I think, I mean, I work with a lot of young men all the time, and they always want to play basketball or football and so forth, but I feel like technology is the opportunity that levels the playing field, especially for people of color. We're not represented in those particular spaces, but we're so innovative, we have so much ingenuity. We have to push our kids into owning, creating, and not just consuming those goods, but we have to produce those goods. And that's really where the power really belongs. And once we recognize that piece and how we can empower our young folks to understand those opportunities, because they're filled with all these information right around them, but they're kind of stuck in the matrix. But we need to reverse engineer their mentality and their mindset around creating opportunities and new discoveries to build economic wealth intergenerational over time. So that's really what we're about, and that's really the long-term impact, what I do on my day-to-day basis, my full-time job, and also what I do on the back end, which is my other full-time job, if you know what I mean. If you're married to an entrepreneur, you're always constantly working. So we're very proud of Girls for Technology and all the success it has accomplished year to date. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Barrett. So when you said matrix, you mean the Matrix? Oh, we're going to have a conversation after tonight. I found a fellow, saying, we found a fellow. Okay, later we will have that conversation. Woo, speaking my language. Well, thank you so much. Another round of applause for our honorees tonight. I really, really appreciate them. I appreciate all of you for coming out and just hearing more about what's happening. I am getting word that Georgette is here in the house tonight. Georgette? Oh, all right, Georgette. You were first up. I heard that you were on the way. You have arrived. So we are just going to invite you as our honoree for this evening to tell everyone a little bit about Fletch Firm, right?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you? Everyone looks beautiful tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. Let's tell you a little bit about Fletch Firm. I started it because I wanted to bring people together, networking, just learn from each other. So furthermore, right now we do brand consulting, photography, and event planning. So anything that people want to do, baby showers, weddings, pop-up shops, fashion shows, anything like that, they can consult with me to plan it. We also do our own events as well. The main thing is to get young professionals out to network. I've done some work with Thomas, and it's been great. Overall, just getting to know everyone, networking, broadening everything that we need to do as far as young professionals. And yeah, I just want to continue to do great work in Hartford and just expand nationally, internationally, just as the main goal is bringing everyone together, because without everyone doing, acting as a unit, we won't succeed. So.
Thank you, Georgette. We see you. We see you. We see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is truly our honor to honor you and to honor the honorees. I do want to bring forward our guest speaker for this evening at this time, because Frank is a man who understands the blueprint. How do we, as a community, create more of this? All of this goodness that you saw up here today, how do we create more of that? Because we have so many ideas that live within us. And what usually happens, we have these great ideas, but then so much like the Matrix, we buck against the system that keeps us held back. And so I think Frank has a little bit of that wisdom within him to share with us tonight of how do we break free, truly, and become the powerful beings that we truly are. How do we navigate this system in order to really own and not be owned, okay? I would invite to the stage Frank Dixon. Frank, I am going to allow you to share some of your background. I won't read the full resume here, but I will say Frank knows what he's talking about. As the formerly co-founder of the Connecticut Black Business Alliance, I think he has a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of word or two that he could share. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Frank.
You know what, I always show up to, I come to these events with a speech. I think I read the first 2 sentences, and then I go off script, right? So the first page, now you should already talk about this. So put that in. The Chamblees took care of this one, right? So I'm gonna just talk about just a couple of things, and we're just gonna be people tonight. We're gonna be a community tonight, and that's what this is about. I, born and raised country guy, North Carolina. I tell people I'm from the country, doesn't mean I am country, right? It's 2 different things. And I had the experiences of doing a lot of different things. Went up to college, played football, 10 years in the Army, a couple of combat tours, come back, defense contracting, business owner. I've lived around the country, I've lived around the U.S., just a whole diverse education, experiences, people, the whole 9 yards. But I stayed humble to a couple of things. And that was growing up in an environment of business owners. My mother and my father, right? And my sisters, So, and that's what we're going to focus on tonight, the community aspect of it. Well, my father owned a general contracting company, a barber shop, which I never seen anyone get their hair cut there. I just think they just hung out. A lot of his Masonic brothers would be there, and I know somebody got a haircut in there sometime. I just never seen it. My mother owned 3 beauty shops. So we grew up at the table, at the dinner table, listening to, okay, we need to get a loan for this. Okay, how can we pay that back? I'm going to hire 2 new people for this particular job. We need to bring the lawyer in and look at this. And my sister and I sitting there like, oh my God, when is this going to stop? But as we were growing, we were learning. So by the time I was 14, 15 years old, I was riding around with my dad. In North Carolina, we could drive at 14, 15. Not legally, but we were doing it, right? And I would take his day laborers to work. I'd drop them off. At 16, I was putting bids in at City Hall for him. At 17, I was doing payroll. My sisters were doing the same thing in their mother's shops. So you were learning this thing, this business thing, right? Something that most black folks or people of color don't historically grow up in. And that's why, that and a lot of other reasons, why we're usually 1 or 2 steps behind. And why we want to get to the theme tonight of why we are full-time business owners, but a lot of us have a half-time business mindset, right? I own a business that's open 8 hours a day, but I'm only thinking about my business half the time. Or I'm only thinking about the industry that I'm in half the time. I'm only thinking about the politics going to affect my business half the time. I'm only thinking about the legal and the payroll or the taxes or the policy or the people that I'm still putting in the offices that's going to affect my business half the time, right? I grew up in a household where they talked about it all the time. They still raised us, they went to football games, cheerleading practices, everything. But they continued to grow. They educated themselves over and over again. Neither one of my parents were college educated, but all of their kids have master's degrees. Socially and on paper, right? But we learned that drive, that experience. So when I went off to college, I learned you took the test, you passed, you got out, you moved on. But I learned the business, the social aspects of it, the soft skills of it, the legal aspects of it in the household. Because I had the advantage of my parents being business owners. That's the education that a lot of people who look like us don't have. We're usually first generation everything when it comes to ownership. So we step back a little bit to the ownership. Because to me, we focus on economic development, community development, economic empowerment, social justice. But when you have a community, and I'm not necessarily talking about the physical, the buildings, I'm talking about a community mindset that's going to galvanize, put a collective group of people together that move things forward, right? That move things forward. You don't have to live in the same neighborhood, but you have to think the same way. You have to think about the politics. You have to think about the redistricting. You have to think about the economic development of the people that you're putting in office. That's going to affect you all. It's going to affect you all sooner or later. So this is where it starts. See, this is a community event. Not because we all live beside each other, it's because we all think the same way. And now she's like, Frank, I just thought we're going to be a few more people here. Don't care if there's 3 people here. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. You get 3 next. If you got 20 in here, next year you'll have 40. Next year you have 60. Because everybody in here, $5 is going to bring 5 more people back with them. They're going to bring 5 more people back with them. And I want to see 5 more kids and 6 more kids in here at that age, because they start absorbing it. I take my kids and make them sit in my office. My daughter, you think she's about to go crazy. I said, no. She said, well, Daddy, you have an office. You don't have anything to do. Yes, I do. Go on my desktop, organize these folders, rename them, rename these folders, put all Word documents in this folder, put all Excel sheets in this folder. And she said, well, Chancellor, my son, he's not doing anything. Yes, he is. He's going to do something. I need you to go with the car, he's 17, go drive you this, go pick that up, go drop it. Right. They're active doing something, and that's where it starts. So my background is military and defense contractor. I moved to Connecticut, Sikorsky Aircraft moved to Connecticut. After I transitioned out of the military, went to D.C. and worked for a government agency. I'll leave nameless at this time. And I decided, you know what, I want to get out and go play with the big boys in the private sector. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, always kept that. So I moved up here with Sikorsky, and I was operations manager, had 150 Teamsters, which I am a big supporter of unions, but that was worse than my combat tour. But you had to manage that group, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Because you know why I managed that group of people who've never ever had anyone who looked like me before manage them? I was one of the first black operations managers at Sikorsky in that particular. I was the first. That was only 10 years ago in that particular section. My father gave me some advice. He said, when you go up there, this is what you want to go into. You tell them who you are, where you've been, and your connection to this product. I'm ex-military. I used to jump out of those helicopters, same thing that we were building. And that's what I did. Right? I kept the confidence up. So whatever you threw at me, it was not going to affect me. Don't ever let anyone take you off your game. In business, in life, nowhere. Because once you let someone else, once they get you, they got you. And you start forgetting what your purpose is, what you're trying to do, where you're going, right? Keep that confidence shield up. Be confident, be fair, be honest, and it's always going to come back to you. So after I moved on from there, I started my own business development firm. Doing something I like to do, teach, educate, train. I called my mother one day and I said, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. We're making widgets and gadgets and all these good things. I said, but I'm missing something. She said, well, that's not what you're meant to do. Altruistically, my drive is educating, training, and empowering. That's what I'm here to do. Educate, train, and empower. So when I get around a group of like-minded people, which that's what I do, I hang around people who think like me. Not to say I don't hang around other people. I just hang around those people more because they're always teaching me something. I don't need to know, if I don't know anything about a restaurant, I'm around someone who's in that mindset. I'm around someone who's a lawyer. I'm around someone who's an accountant. I'm around someone who owns businesses, who's putting on empowerment events. Because I grow. You grow that way. You don't know it, but you are. When you're getting in any kind of conversation and you can hold your own because you've diversified your mindset and you're not within that zone just because you're in cosmetology or you're in restaurant or you're in legal or you're in medical, and those are the only people you're hanging around, you're fooling yourself. You're missing something. You're not growing. You're smart. You're making this, but you're not growing. So we get back to it, and that's what I meant to do. So when I got around a couple of like-minded people in the New Haven area down where I live, you get around these people, they're always talking about what needs to happen, right? And I can only hear people say that 1 or 2 times. Because I'm the guy that will pick it up and say, you know what, well, that's what needs to happen. What do we need to do? How do we lay the blueprint out? How do we lay the plan out? What do we do? What do we do to make this happen? They're like, whoa, hold up, Frank. What are you talking about? So well, we're talking about what needs to happen. Why businesses are failing. Why they only lasting 6 months or 7 months, or going under, or can't get access to capital. How do we fix that? Well, I don't know. Well, okay, well, let's think about it. Because if we're using this same energy, talking about the problem, we can use this energy to come up with a solution, right? So what we started to do before we even come up with the term the Black Business Alliance, which there are a lot of those out there, we just changed some lettering or put a little asterisk on it. So we started doing events around Greater New Haven, in Hartford, different areas. And the only thing we did, we invited select like-minded people in the room. You know why? Because these were going to be the ambassadors. So we invited a couple of clergy here, a couple of educators, some business owners. Right? We strategically didn't bring politicians in. So we just started talking. We Paretoed what we think some of our primary challenges are in our community, socially, and why we're not growing for the whole growth, the economic development, growth, the whole gamut, right? And we start acting on it. We assign people certain things. This group, and we had these people, we had professionals buying in, working together, and we put committees together. And the only thing we wanted them to do was to put the script together on what we needed to do. And what was I doing then? I was putting my platform together and my mission statement together for the nonprofit, the Black Business Alliance. But I used a community to help me do it, because when I launched it, I knew they were going to buy in because they had the input. So after we built up the past performance, educating, training businesses, right, we focused on the empowerment piece. Not necessarily how to start your business, but how to be sustainable in business. You can go downtown, $125 to start your business. But how do you stay in business? How do we empower you to do that? By helping you understand what are the challenges, what are the tax codes, the education you're going to need, the upfront capital, understanding your business, the empowerment piece. Who's building? What city or town or state is business friendly to minority businesses, to new startups? How to research it, how to find those things. So we're doing these workshops, and then we worked out magic, and we sent a proposal to Department of Economic and Community Development here in Connecticut, and we won $600,000 in grants to help DCD in the state educate the minority population around the state on how to do access to capital, to help those guys. We leveraged them because they were deficient in that area with lending to that particular population. We already did the data, we already did the research, so we leveraged that. We partnered with them. We didn't get away from the overall structure of the Black Business Alliance, but that was about empowering everybody. But we leveraged the state, marketed ourselves to let everybody know what we were doing. Now, how did this start? 3.5 years early. Me and 2 other people sitting around the table just having a conversation. Because I don't just have conversations. You have a conversation with me, you say the wrong thing, and we're going to be partnering in something. We're going to be partnering in something. And that's what I'm here to say. It's a community mindset. It does not stop when you walk out of here. Connect with people that you don't know. I don't care if you meet at Starbucks and just talk. If you meet at Starbucks or Panera or Anybody here own a black or Latino coffee shop that I can send your way or something? So, and that's what it's about. The community mindset, and we'll take this thing where it needs to go. We have people that are full-time business owners with a part-time business mindset. Let us stop there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. That is 100% what tonight is all about. Definitely, we are bringing it, and Frank was very encouraging to me because I did share with him and a couple of other people in the room about the room not being filled, but you do have to start somewhere. This is a hard conversation to have, and that never stopped the McCauleys. If you know a little bit about the McCauleys, that never stopped them from doing anything. So we like to have those hard conversations, and we just keep going. Because somewhere along the way, when we're having those conversations, we pick up a few other believers. And so I just want to take a moment to shout out those few other believers that we picked up along the way, because again, what happens to me is when you come into my life, I fall in love with you. I love you, and I start loving on you, and I loving on Jesse tonight because he was a little bit under the weather, but he's here tonight, and so thank you, Jesse. Thank you. And the other thing that happened, I attracted another angel. I attracted another angel in Amanda in the back of the room. Perfect party. You're going to be hearing and seeing a lot more from this young lady. But we just met really like 2 weeks ago, and it took about 5 minutes, and no lie, I'm opening my wallet and I'm handing her my credit card, and I'm like, I need you in my life. Here, whatever I have is yours, take it. Because I fell in love with her spirit. I think we had a connection, and again, if she doesn't feel that way, I will hold that feeling for the both of us until she does. Until she feels all of this love, I'm gonna hold it. And I feel the same way about our community. Although the room is not as full as I wanted it to be tonight, I'm gonna hold that belief for all of us until we get there. And I'm not MLK, but I've been to the mountaintop. I will hold that belief for all of us until we get there, right? Am I right? Okay, so before I let you go, and before I let go, I feel like a Beyonce movement coming on. I just have to say, I didn't learn the dance. Like there's a whole dance you're supposed to do with that. I didn't learn that. But I think if we all tried tonight, could we do it? I don't know. Alfonso, are you into it? Did you play like the Beyonce challenge at your 60 Soul shout out? Did y'all get into that? Great observer, okay. All right, so we'll leave that there. I won't try to do that. But before I let you go, and just a quick nod from my people. Is there still food available too? Like if we do this, and then can people still eat and stuff and still drink? I guess the bar's still open, that kind of thing. Like we could still do that. We could still hang out if we feel the need to do that. But before I let you go, I'm gonna read a little something. I'm not good at reading signals, I'm sorry. What are you trying to tell me, honey? Sis? You want me to sing? What?
Bring your husband up.
What is happening here? Oh, you don't want that? Oh, he heard me sing. No. He's not ready. He's not ready? Oh, well, I'm going to read something first, and he can get ready while I read this. Okay, how about that? Okay. The next person and the final person that you're going to hear from tonight, that means I will not be singing. The next person and the final person that you're going to hear from tonight will be Sam McCauley. Okay. So,
tell us how you met him.
So I won't go there, Joe. Thank you, Joe. But I will say he needs no introduction, but I will share a few things, just a few things. Stan began his career, and I'm only sharing this because a lot of people don't know it. He doesn't talk about it a lot, but Stan, he's so humble, he's so quiet. But we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get him there, right, Lorraine? Lorraine is a firecracker. She got her eyes on him. She's gonna work it out. So Stan landed in Hartford at Pratt & Whitney. A lot of people don't know that, but he actually began his career in aviation maintenance technology as an experimental assembly builder at Pratt & Whitney. A lot of people don't know that. He doesn't talk about it much. He kind of like is his past because he was called into ministry and he answered that call. So he like leaves that part of his life out, but the dude came from Pratt & Whitney. He's actually a smart guy. Yes. Oh, then you'll pick it up, right? If you listen to him speak, you know that he's a pretty guy. He got that. Okay. His other titles include film and video producer, playwright, instructor, executive director of Hartford Public Access Television. His most recent pursuits, founding accesstv.org, a social media television network that you can check out, where he actually covers a lot of events that are happening in Hartford where you just won't see anywhere else. His very, very recent pursuit is also as a mayoral candidate in this year's election for the city of Hartford, his recent endeavor. But I think the one that he's most proud of, the title that he's most proud of, is husband and father. So without further ado, folks, Jason McCauley.
Wow. What you really wanted to say is like Naisha's husband. I was back there trying to get the battery off of that light pack, but the battery is like all froze up on there and stuff, so we'll have to make arrangements. But, tonight is really about celebrating entrepreneurial vision. And I'm one of those people that like to model things, Don't ask anyone to do something you're not willing to do yourself. If you tell somebody that something needs to be done, model it for them. That's not to say that everyone can do that, but if you have the capacity to demonstrate at least how you think it should be done, then do it. And one of the things that I think needs to be done in terms of priorities for the city is that, the secret to Hartford's success are like, the people in this room, and by extension, the people in this neighborhood, and by extension, the people in this city. Because Hartford's success really is Hartford. Now, a lot of people don't get that. When they ask me, well, what's your vision for the city? And I say, well, my vision is your vision. They think that you're trying to sidestep the responsibility of having a vision. But I think all too often we as constituents look to quote unquote elected idiots to come up with a solution as though they have the capacity to actually come up with a solution. Like, who left them in charge of all knowledge? Most of them are like a plumber or an aircraft mechanic, or maybe they're a doctor, and they're probably pretty good at what they do, but they're not good at everything, right? But guess where all the experts are? Throughout the city. In my 37 years of documenting Hartford, I've literally gone to meetings 30 years later and heard the same conversation, like Frank said, about what we need to do. We need to do something. I've heard so many meetings start off that way. I've seen people get up and cry and leave meetings. All right? Any of you know who Carolyn Brooks Burton is? Okay, Carolyn. Now, I'll say her name, that way you can ask her if what I'm saying is true. I saw her leave the meeting saying, I've been listening to this conversation for 30 years, and I'm leaving. And just get up in tears and leave. And Hartford is a funny city because, I imagine it's not the only city, but in Hartford, conversation is considered action. But we talked about it, and because you talked about it, what? Nothing got done. So it's not until you actually do something that something gets done. A lot of people in this room are entrepreneurs. They had an idea, and then they did something. And that's what we need in Hartford. People who are willing to do something. And your elected representatives are supposed to be empowered to help you do stuff. They're not there to run the city. They're there to manage the city as an asset for you. I don't care what you believe. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how you self-identify. If you come to City Hall, you should be able to get some help because you're the constituents. And City Hall is set up to be there to manage the city on your behalf, right? So how do we empower Hartford residents to unlock their vision? Now, Hartford is a city that is in deep economic despair. It is an economically distressed city. And so the people that I sat down with and talked to in terms of economics said, there's a whole economic package for the region and the council for governments and all this other stuff. You can go into the weeds talking about the plan that they have for the region, but the regional plan for Hartford is training. Now, you all know the training story. The trainer gets paid, but the people that are getting trained never get a job. And you can always find money to train folk because you're not really trying to help them get out of their condition. And an economy is real simple. Frank said we're going to keep it family. Probably one of the most effective economies in this city is the drug economy, the underground economy, right? It is so effective that they don't really want to do anything about it because it will disrupt the flow of money, right? Because economy is about money. And if you want to turn Hartford from being an economically distressed city, you have to put money in the pockets of the people who don't have any. And until someone starts talking about how can we empower people by giving them resources to put in their pocket, nothing is going to change. All right? So as she said when she started out, own or be owned. We don't plant cotton here in Connecticut, but you can be the new cotton because you're the resource for a whole lot of people's economic benefit. And in order for that to change, we have to change the mindset of the people that live in Hartford. All of us. This city, you could pick it up from the south end to the Windsor line and set it physically inside of O'Hare International Airport. O'Hare International Airport is an authority of the city of Chicago, like our parking authority. They have international police there, FBI, CIA, fire department, schools. They got everything imaginable on the campus of that airport. And they manage it very effectively. Yet you can't manage the poverty in a Hartford And you know, the city is so small that poverty exists here by design. I could say that without fear of contradiction. By design. So it is up to us to change that paradigm. 14 days ago, well, that's not true. 15 days ago, this idea didn't exist yet for tonight's event. They put this together in 2 weeks. Jesse, my wife, Amanda, oh man, I'm hitting 1,000 because you all, you know, I don't do good with names. I don't do good with names at all. Amanda, they put this together along with, am I leaving people out? And you know, we have a dynamic team. We really, really do. But it was really kind of like they're really the core idea, you know? And I didn't micromanage it. I just showed up. I really did. I just showed up because it's kind of like a practice for allowing people to do what they do. And the reason I bring that up is that if you have an idea, step out and do it. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work. And you're right where you started at, right? So you can only do better if you try. And you know, you can accidentally stumble into it. That's like when you get politicians to tell you that they try to do something, ask them, well, where's the mess up at? If you tried to do it, then show me the mistake. Show me where you tried and the failure was. So where's the failure? I can appreciate the failure. But they tell you that because they haven't really tried to do anything. But if you fall for the okie doke over and over again, 4 years from now, we'll be having the same conversation about we need to try something different. All right? You are the difference. We will work with anybody that has a plan. We have so much need in Hartford that if everybody in this room wanted to start an organization to help keep people who have an eye in the back of their center, the back of their head, okay, and there's not a whole lot of them folk around, they keep it covered, right? That we wouldn't have enough folk to help. We have people in the city who don't want to work with each other because they're afraid that if I work with him, he'll take my people. Look, if everybody in Hartford works together, we still won't have enough people. So we don't have to worry about working outside of silos, okay? If we work outside of silos, we'll meet maximum capacity and we can turn the city around. Because we have to build an economy. We have to put money in people's pockets, all right? And I believe that the entrepreneurs of the city are the beginning of that. We have the arts, culture, entertainment. We have people with tremendous talent here. We have digital movie opportunities that we can do here, along with all the other entrepreneurial ideas that we have, not to mention just regular old business, okay? But it's gonna take creativity like you have and the people that you know have, all right? So I'm not gonna preachify you to death. I am a talkaholic. I am in recovery, and it is not going well. So if you want, those of you that know me know, I can talk. I can talk for 4 hours straight and not miss a beat. So I won't do that to you tonight. I really appreciate that you all came out. I would like to ask that anyone that lives in the city of Hartford and is a registered voter that has not signed my petition yet, please sign my petition so that I can get on the ballot. I am a registered Democrat, but I also do not toe the party line. I am a malcontent by nature. So I do exactly what they tell me you can't do. Like a lot of you in this room. How are you gonna tell me I can't run for mayor? Y'all must have lost your mind, right? Not only can I run, I'm gonna win,
right? I want folk in Hartford, Democrat Party, all of the heavy hitters who want me to come and have a conversation with them now. I want all of them at 10 o'clock on November the 5th to have the same look on their face that they had when Donald Trump won. I want them to say, what? That can't be right. Who's down at the registrar's office? This is not supposed to happen that way. This is why I'm not a member in good standing. Because I have a propensity to tell the truth. And folk don't like that kind of stuff, all right? But be the difference you want to see. Anyone can win. We have a mayor right now who can't be mayor. Why? Because he's not from Hartford, and you can't be a dog catcher in this city if you're not from this city and we don't get behind you. I was told that. All right? Anyone can win if you get behind them. That's all it takes. The determination that this is going to be our person, and then we can win. All right? So I want them to have to do a white paper on how Stan won. I want them to lose their natural mind trying to figure out how did this happen. Because not only are we going to win, it's going to be a landslide. All right? And then we're going to be kind to some folk. But this is politics, right? There are some folk that we cannot be kind to. So y'all need to put the word out that if you don't get on the train now, there will be no chance for you. Tell some of those politicos that. Thank you for your time.